Hello everyone. So our agent from the last video is giving advice based on the symptom. But our agents are not smart. This suggestion is based on some if-else statement, some rules. But eventually we don't want rule-based advice. We want smart advice, AI-based advice. So here when this agent receives symptom, instead of it deciding the suggestion, it needs to call AI to get the suggestion. And here AI means LLM, large language model. So this agent needs to connect to LLM and ask suggestion from it based on the symptom, and whatever is suggestion it should just return. Okay, so we want LLM object which it can connect to. That means we need a LLM class. So let's create a class LLM, and this init method double underscore init, a self field, and the model name. And then what this LLM class should have, it should have what an LLM does. It takes a prompt and generates suggestion or response. So this will have generate response based on the prompt. So it will get a prompt, and based on the prompt it will suggest. So here it will suggest, that means this will call an API, call LLM API to get a response based on the prompt. Okay, so LLM class is not the LLM, it is the interface for the LLM. So agent calls generate response, and this generate response internally makes an API call to the given LLM model, gets this response. Okay, this agent cannot directly or should not directly call the API, so it's using the LLM class wrapper. So it will call LLM method, and then this LLM will call the model. Now there are various LLM models. So suppose this one is chat GPT model. Okay, so this will call chat GPT API or OpenAI API. It will have chat GPT or OpenAI a URL. Okay, OpenAI URL and OpenAI keys. Okay, it will have OpenAI URL and OpenAI key, and it will make a HTTP call. Right, so this chat GPT LLM class will handle all these operations to make a HTTP call to the OpenAI URL using the OpenAI key, passing this prompt, getting the response. This whole process to interact with the model is done using this class. Right? That's why we have a class. This class is not the LLM, it's not the model, it will not give you the response. It will interact with the model based on the URL and the key. Okay. Various different model will have different URL, different key, different way to prompt. So we will have to create separate models, separate LLM class, right? So ChatGPT LLM, same way Gemini LLM and all those type of classes. So its responsibility is to make the actual LLM API call, generate the response, and then this LLM will be used here. Instead of this agent class generating the suggestion based on the prompt, it will now get answer from the LLM class. So now we have ChatGPT LLM class, so we'll instantiate a class object. Okay, so inside agent class we will have this LLM object created, and then this LLM object will call generate response based on the prompt. What is the prompt? Simple prompt, provide advice for this given symptom which is coming from here. Okay, so it will get the response, and earlier it was printing that suggestion, so here it will just print this response. Same thing, it is printing the suggestion but not using a for loop, not using its own logic or brain. It is using the LLM model here. It is creating a prompt from the symptom, sending it to generate response method of this ChatGPT LLM class, which is internally calling the OpenAI API, getting the response, and this response is displayed here. This is still a very high level concept. We in the next sessions will go more deep into this, like creating the URL key and all those fields. You can even have a prompt generator, right? Right now it is a simple prompt, but it can be advanced prompt later, so we'll need a separate class or something to generate the prompt. So now we have moved suggestion to if from if else to LLM. Now we are getting the advice. Okay, now here you can see this agent is using a ChatGPT LLM, but in normal practical scenarios we give user option which LLM they want to call. So instead of creating instance here, we will create instance here and pass it to this agent. Okay, suppose here we have Gemini LLM. Okay, so it will call Gemini API, Gemini URL Gemini key and get the response. So we can switch this here itself, like instead of this we can use Gemini LLM. But normally if you see, like in N8N also, if you have attended the N8N session, in that we attach model separately to an agent, right? Here we are not attaching. Here this agent has this model internally, but we want to attach it from outside. So what we will do is we will here create a LLM field and take it from parameter. And remove this. Okay, we don't create instance here, we get this model from outside. And what this LLM be, it will be created here. So before agent we'll create LLM. So we want chat GPT LLM, so we'll pass this LLM here. If we decide to change chat GPT LLM with Gemini LLM, we will create a Gemini LLM instance and pass it here. Why we are not doing it here? Because if we suppose move this agent to a separate library, we cannot change that library, so we cannot change the LLM. That's why we are passing it here. When we are using the agent, that time we can decide we want Gemini or ChatGPT or any other LLM. So we'll pass that LLM and agent will simply use that LLM. Okay, and generate the response. So now we have this multi-class program. We have converted the simple procedural medical suggestion to a agentic based LLM based solution. Okay, you can add more LLM classes, you can add more methods, or try to create these fields and enhance it. Okay, I will explain further how to implement this actual API call so that we will get actual response. This is still a dummy response, right? But in future videos we will implement this also. Next thing what we have to do is, this is a conversational agent. This is like just taking your symptom, suggesting you what you have to do. But suppose your symptom is severe and the suggestion is to visit a doctor, then you need to book appointment. At that time this agentic program, right, this is not just conversational agent, this is actionable agent, so it should be able to book an appointment. So to book an appointment, it should have access to some API which can be called to book an appointment. Okay, so like if we talk about booking an airplane ticket, so we can book airplane ticket using Make My Trip, Clear Trip, etc. So we want APIs for those websites. So similarly we want APIs for some medical uh, platform. Suppose XYZ is a platform which gives you API to book appointment. So we will use XYZ API via a tool. Okay, so this agent will not call that API directly. It will not know how to call that API. Right here, if you see, it is not calling the model API directly. It does not know. It just calls this method. So that booking appointment API will also be called through a separate class, and that will be a tool class. So like LLM, we will create tool, and what this tool will do, it will have suppose use tool or take action method. So let's do this tool, okay, or call API, then which tool, which API. So here also we need API URL, API key, API param, and all those things. And then it will make HTTP call and book an appointment and answer that your appointment has been booked. So this is general tool. Like we had general LLM, this is a general tool. It can be a air ticket booking or movie ticket booking or doctor appointment booking too. But for in our case, let's make it a appoint appointment tool. But appointment tool is again a general tool, right? Here we actually use the branded tool. Like suppose the company is XYZ, then this will be XYZ2. If you know Practo, let's say talk about Practo. Practo gives you API to book appointment. So it will be a Practo tool where we have Practo API URL, its key, and we make this call and book an appointment based on the input which is coming from the agent. So here give advice, and then we have a separate take action method. So once you give symptom, it will give you advice. So this advice can be take rest or see a doctor. If it says you see a doctor, then you need to book appointment, then you need to take action. So here you after give advice, you will check what is the advice and then you will take action. So in the take action, so basically you will call the take action method of the agent, which will take action, that is it will book appointment. And internally it will call tool. So let's make tool here for now, tool equal to practice tool and then tool the use tool, that means book appointment, right? Now like LLM also, we don't want to fix the tool inside the agent. This should also come from outside. So instead of hard coding here, we will pass it as a parameter. And use it here. So here before calling an agent, before instantiating an agent, we will create LLM and tool and then pass it to the agent. Okay. So agent will have access to the LLM and the tool, and depending on the situation, it can call that, right? So here in give advice, it can directly call LLM. So for every symptom, it will call LLM. but we can decide that for some simple standard symptom we have if else, and for some complex scenario we call LLM. So in that case it will have access to the LLM, but it will call it based on the situation. Same way, this tool, it will have access to it, but depending on the situation it can call this tool. Now this tool, which is a appointment booking tool, we can have multiple tools like send email, so mail tool, right? Send report, call someone. So that way for every action we have different tools. So this tool thing is an array actually. Okay, but for now keep it simple. Now here, as I said, we have give advice and take action, right? We want control, right? We don't want to book appointment immediately. We will decide based on the advice, we will decide to take action or not. But then it will not be a smart agent, right? What we want is based on the situation, agent need to decide what it has to do. It will suggest take rest, or it will see if it's a severe situation. It will book appointment without us, suggesting. So that time we can have give advice and take action, right? So it will give advice, and based on the advice it will also take action. So we can have both the option: complete autonomy. This is complete autonomy. So this is an autonomic agent. It will give advice and take action based on the advice. Now this based on is coming from the LLM. LLM will suggest should appointment be booked or not, and then agent will call that. But here the human does it, human in loop. It will get the suggestion and then take action. So now we have converted a simple procedure language to an agent which takes LLM and tool. So now this agent is a such conversational agent plus actionable agent. Okay. So going forward, we will again add more scenarios and make it more advanced, smarter. Okay. So try this, and if you want to add more features, you are free to do that. But at least you try to complete this much. There are a lot of things we can add to an agent. We'll do that going forward. So by now, from a simple Python program, same test.py has been converted to a agentic based program. There are a lot of things to do. We'll do in the next coming sessions.